Alright boys, so the 7th anniversary is in full swing over on the JP version of the game, and you guys know what that means. We have a big bad GSSR to cover, and I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the easiest GSSRs for me to actually do a guide for, because a lot of these are looking really strong, but yeah, they gave us a couple that are just these 1 in 3 chances to get some servants, and most of these are actually really good, with the best one being this Berserker one down here. I think this is literally the best one you could possibly do, because you literally cannot lose. Any of these 3 servants are just phenomenal and very powerful for your box. One of the other ones that's also very powerful is the assassin one up here, because you have a 2 in 3 chance of getting a very powerful servant in the meta right now. I mean, even some of these other ones aren't bad. The Archer Jean one, yeah, up here. This one is also pretty much you win no matter which one you get, as Super Orion is still very good for soloing very thick bosses. Jean Archer is still a very powerful looper. Sei has like 3 incredibly good special damage mods. It makes her very good for that. But the general rule of thumb that I'm just going to tell you guys real quick is that you see these banners right here where you've got like 6, 7 servants up on the GSSR. You really want to avoid these ones, right? Because these give you the least possible chance of getting the servant you want, whereas these 1 in 3s are your best possible values, right? So these are the main ones that I'm going to be looking at, because these are just your most high value ones to go for. You could argue something like this is pretty high value because you have like Scotty and Merlin here. So you could say, well, maybe that's like a 2 out of 5 chance, but you'd still want to be leaning more towards your 1 out of 3 chance. The only one that I really give an exception to is the Castoria one, because Castoria is still absolutely phenomenal. And if you miss out on Castoria, you can get Miss Crane, who's not exactly like a meta support caster, but she is extremely good in the same vein as someone like Van Gogh or something, who is on rate up down here somewhere. Yeah, there she is. But unfortunately, she's on one of the 1 in 5 chance gotchas over here. So I'm not going to focus on a lot of these, because I'm trying to, again, tell you guys what the ones that I think are the highest value. If you want to go for, say, this extra 2 banner right here, because you're like, you don't have any of these 5 people and you would just be happy to get any of these 5, by all means go for it. I had a friend, a very close friend of mine, that wanted to go for this one right here because they just really like MHX Alta, right? And again, if you want to go for a servant that you more just like and you're not really going for like meta or the best value, again, I totally respect that. I'll just doing this to kind of be like, hey, these are the best ones to go for. These are the ones that I would personally recommend people go for. But again, at the end of the day, you need to also go for the servants that you enjoy, because that's going to raise your overall enjoyment of the game. And if you're not having fun playing the game, then, well, why are you playing at all, right? That's kind of like my overall philosophy with the game. So, you know, don't take this as like, you summoned for Muramasa up here. Where is he? Up here. Yeah. Up here, you're a big dumb idiot, right? I mean, I don't think it's very good value to go on this one if you want specifically Muramasa, but I can understand people going for those. So first and foremost, we're just going to kind of cut off some of these, and we're going to focus on the 1 in 3 shots, right? Because these are the ones that I believe are like the best value to go for. So again, just kind of already talked about the Archer 2 one, but if you do want to go for this one, not only do you have a really good shot at one of the better Arch AoE loopers, my bad, and then also a quick AoE looper that also has some very good special damage mods, you also have a shot at Super Orion, but the 4 stars here are also very good in and of themselves. In fact, if you don't snag John Archer, you actually have a chance to get Zenobia down here, who, in my, just experience using her at NP1 over on the JP version of the game, loops like an absolute charm, right? She basically just perfectly fills the slot of me not having my own John Archer over on JP. Zenobia fills that perfectly, right? Again, some of the other servants that are on this 4-star slot as well are just very strong. Sith is a very good boss-killing, like, lockdown servant. Ilya is just kind of like a generically good AoE quick archer. If you don't get Sei, you could get her, and, Ilya is arguably better at looping than Sei is, so that actually might be a W for you. Ash Vitamin over here just absolutely crushes everybody he comes into contact with. He's still an absolutely phenomenal servant. And then Anastasia, again, also a very powerful servant as well. Like, this is just generally a very good value banner, but I would argue there are those that have better value. Specifically looking at this Lancer banner right here, because instead of these 3, you have, more aptly, you have Melusine and Romulus. You guys know that I keep harping on Romulus for just allowing just absolute degenerate amounts of damage because of the fact that he can like buff everybody with these Roman traits, give them to the opponents. You can combo that with like someone like Boudica, who also gives you special damage mod against Romans. And you know, if you're fighting specific enemies, like say you take a Siegfried and then give him all of those while fighting dragons, things can get really disgusting very, very quickly. He allows so many just degenerative combos and just random stuff you can do to just start hitting in the millions when you're not getting special damage mod from like an event or anything, right? It's just outside of an event, he's letting you hit in the millions and stuff. The dude just allows a lot of disgusting stuff to happen, right? And then Melusine is still one of the best DPS servants in the game. I mean, she's definitely up there, probably in like my top 3, just right off the top of my head, for like best DPS servant in the game. I mean, she's still the only servant so far that can also swap between being a single target to an AoE servant, making her compatible with both Koyenskaya as an AoE buster servant that can also just charge her NP by 100%. One of the same reasons why Arcweed is still busted, by the way. And then also just being one of the most nutty art single target servants because she stacks NP gain. So even after like a lot of her buffs wear off, she's still stacking NP gain and can just consecutively fire her NP pretty much every single turn. Like Melusine will not stop firing her NP until the enemy has died. Sakamoto Ryoma is also not too bad. I have both him and Vitra, and I'm kind of playing around with both of them right now. Not exactly sure who I like more. I lean a little bit more towards Ryoma. Honestly, if you get him, he's probably the shaft out of the 3 of these because these guys are just kind of so good. And while Ryoma's good, he's just, in my opinion, doesn't really live up to these two. But even like just looking at the 4 stars, if you're able to get like Melta Lilith over here or Percival, both of these guys are just absolutely phenomenal 4-star servants. They both very much hold up even to this day. Everyone else is a little more mid. I mean, Don Quixote's not bad, don't misunderstand. He's really good. I love that dude. But these 3 are more... Canis probably needs like one more buff to kind of get her back on track. They did give her a buff, I was gonna say recently, but that was like a year ago at this point. It feels like it was only recently, but it's been actually a fat minute. Give her like one more buff and she'll definitely be a bit better, but I think they were a little too stingy when they buffed her last time, and I think she just needs like one more going towards the future, which, who knows, she might actually get a buff because we have like the, what is it, the rank up 15 is what we're on right now, that's coming for the 7th anniversary, and there's like 2 gold lancers on the slot, so Canis might get a buff. So you know what, screw it, if you pull on this and you get Canis, she might just get a buff and just go absolutely crazy. I would say the same thing for Ibaraki Lance over here. She's like just generically good, like she just does really good standard things, but probably needs a buff or 2. And Qin Liang, you people just absolutely forget that this servant even exists in the first place, and she probably needs a few more buffs. She's kind of like baby Super Orion, but Super Orion is actually really good. So yeah, Ryder one, I would avoid this one. I would honestly say even more so than even maybe the 5 stars, Mordred Ryder is really a prize here because, you know, Castoria meta is still in full swing, and Mordred Ryder is like one of the better looping servants in the game. If you have your own Scotty, getting Ryder Alter is absolutely phenomenal. She will just crush people, whoever she comes into contact with. Ivan is exceptionally good after his buff. If Iskandar gets a buff in the future, maybe giving him like a 30% battery or something, this dude will be absolutely broken because he's like one of the hardest hitting AoE servants in the game. Like, he's absolutely disgusting whenever he fires his NP. He just needs something to help him be a little bit more consistent. Overall, though, I'd probably avoid this one. This one's not too bad. I mean, I said I was going to talk about the 1 and 3s, but the 4s aren't too bad either. It's just that, like, you're really kind of going for reigns on this one. This one I just don't consider as, like, high value as some of these other ones you could be going for, like, namely stuff like this. I would just kind of avoid this one. This one, as well, I kind of already touched on, but yeah, if you can get Scotty, that's fine, but we're kind of speculating that Proto Merlin is going to be the new quick support type servant because they specifically in the live stream went out of their way to buff quick cards, right? They made quick cards better if you lead off a chain with them, and quick chains are even stronger, dropping 20 stars now. So we're kind of theorizing that Proto Merlin's going to be the new quick support type servant. So I maybe wouldn't jump the gun in summoning on this one. Just because, you know, Proto Merlin's probably going to take Scotty's place, right? And Koyenskaya has kind of taken Merlin's place as well as like the de facto go-to Buster support type servant. So well, this one is like not too bad because Ilya's really good. She recently got like a 50. Well, again, I'm saying recently, but it was like 6 months ago that she got like a 50% battery as one of her buffs. That was really, really good. I just still don't think it's as good as summoning for some of these other banners down here. This is the first one that I think is actually like really, really like insane to kind of summon on. Because not only could you get Castoria, which I don't think I need to talk about, like, if you're on JP, you've been using Castoria for the last 2 years. If you're on NA, you're just now experiencing Castoria and how good she is. She's an absolute banger. Like, she just crushes everything. She makes the game, like, really, really streamlined. Miss Crane is pretty much like an Omni crit support servant. She's absolutely crazy as well. Murasaki is like a caster, like an arts AoE caster that can loop. Corday is like your arts single target caster who's also very good. Even using her over on JP, I definitely appreciate having her. She definitely has come in clutch a few times, so she's definitely very good. Izumo is very, very good as a single target quick caster as well. Like, everyone here is just really, really strong. Like, you're either going to walk away with like a good looper, just like a general really good crit support servant, a very good quick DPS, a good arts DPS, or like one of the best support type servants in the game. Honestly, the only shafts here are 2 of these 4 stars, being the Rats and Miyu over here, but you know, I was gonna try to say something nice. I think, look, the Rats are better if you can get them at like NP2 or NP3. If you already have some copies and you get some dupes, then they become a lot better. If you get them at NP1, they're a little underwhelming in my experience. This one, I don't think I need to tell people to summon on. This one is just stay away from Assassin 1. It's really just, with the value of all of these other banners, this is not worth summoning on at all. Like, maybe the best servant on here is maybe like Hassan or MHX, and it's just like, it's just don't waste your GSSR on something like this. This is kind of like in line with the Castoria one because you can get Koyenskaya, who, as time goes on, I slowly become more and more convinced of Koyenskaya being better than Castoria, for reasons like Koyenskaya can be both your looper and your support type servant. Koyenskaya, if you don't have the proper looping materials, like let's say you don't have the prime 50% battery AoE Buster servant, which is like the prime servants you want to use with Koyenskaya. Koyenskaya really wants to be paired with 50% battery servants. Even if you don't have that, Koyenskaya can be your wave 1 clear, right? She can literally just be your Arash, right? And take out wave 1 for you. And then from there, you could pretty much use almost any Buster servant to clear waves 2 and 3, right? Like, she's just absolutely nutty. Buster farming doesn't care about the odd nodes where there might be like 1 enemy, then 3 enemies, then 2 enemies, or it's like a 2-3-1 enemy node. Like, she just doesn't care about any of that because you don't actually loop. You just do damage and just funnel raw NP into the person that you're supporting. So I slowly become more and more convinced as the more I think about it that Koyenskaya might be better than Castoria. Castoria is like more casual player friendly, but the more built up your box gets, the more better Buster becomes for your box, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the more you invest, the higher and better Koyenskaya gets, but Castoria is just like generally good for pretty much any box, right? That's kind of how I view it currently. But regardless, the fact that we're even having that discussion, yeah, Koyenskaya is definitely worth going, and it's a 1 in 3 shot. And if you don't get her, you could get Kama, who is still insanely good. I think, you know, actually, no, I'm not. I was going to say a little bit of a hot take. I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was saying that the more I was thinking about Kama, and as we start getting other servants like Melusine, I was not that like Kama's getting worse, because I'm trying to say that she's still really, really good, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that she's really, really good, despite the fact that we're getting like newer and better DPSs. Kama's still kind of holding up. That's essentially what I'm trying to get out right now. But yeah, she's still very, very good, basically. The only L is that if you get Semiramis, I mean, she's really cute, I'll give you that. But it's just like the fact that you got Semiramis when you could have gotten Koyenskaya can definitely bite. And the only kind of L is that the 4 stars aren't very good, right? Like, Okita Summer's really cute, but again, they kind of broke her legs before she was even released by attaching a 60% stun chance to her NP. So that kind of broke her legs before she was even able to walk. So still a very, very good banner to go for the chance to get Koyenskaya or even just getting Kama. But again, keep in mind that the 4-star options aren't very, very good. This Berserker one, very similar to this Assassin one, unless you like absolutely love Raiko or something, you need to be avoiding this banner. Then we look at Berserker 2. This is probably, again, like the best one out of all the banners. And like, I personally just believe that it's almost impossible to lose when summoning on this banner, because not only are the 4 stars really good, I mean, Kriemhild came out as a single target arts Berserker, and I'm kind of convinced already that she's better than Galatea and Vlad, who are like the other 2 single target arts Berserkers. She just absolutely crushes whoever she fights. She's absolutely amazing to use. Sei is a very, very good quick servant to use. Or wait, no, is she Buster? Did I mess up? Am I getting her mixed up with the original Sei? I don't know. Somebody in the comments will correct me. Actually, let's just look right now. Let's just look. Let me just look right now since we're right here. I thought she was Buster. Oh, she is quick. Okay, yeah, see, I'm messing myself up, dude. I'm messing myself up. But still, very, very good. Brynhildr, I like a lot, but doesn't really hold up, but she's cute. But that's not really why you're summoning on this banner, right? The 4 stars are nice, but it's like Arjuna Alter can still cheese a lot of boss fights in the game. Musashi is still one of the best arts looping servants to use. She's consistent, her damage is very good, she's a berserker, so you could pretty much bring her to anything, and she will not only just do the neutral damage that you see on all the damage charts, but she'll do super effective damage against pretty much everybody, right? And then Morgan's just cracked. Like, Morgan's just absolutely nutty broken. She can be a support, she can be a farmer, she can be a boss killer, she can be a staller, she can do whatever you want, right? So, like, you literally don't lose going for this banner. Then we come down to some of the extra class banners. These aren't necessarily bad, I just think they're kind of chocked full of, like, you know, different servants, right? Like, there's some fluff on them, right? For instance, like, Extra 1, unless you're a huge fan of, like, Jalter, you could probably skip out on, because I mean, Dante's still good if you're doing quick farming, but if you're doing quick farming on JP right now, it's kind of like, hey, old man, get with the program. It's Castoria Koyenskaya season, right? Like, we're Arts and Buster farming, quick is dead again, until, you know, a week later when Proto Merlin, I'm sure, will be the next premium quick support servant, but I don't really see this one as really worth going for. Again, unless you just really, really love somebody like Jalter. This one's not bad. Generally, this banner right here, Extra 2, is not too bad. Ruler Artoria is just a good, solid DPS. You can use her for Buster looping. Qi Shi Huang is, like, in my opinion, still the best solo servant in the game. Although, I'm kind of leaning more towards Ku Alter taking that from him, because Ku Alter can kind of do what he does, but a lot faster. A little more volatile, but after his NP damage buff, where he removes defensive buffs, it made him a lot quicker and more volatile at, like, soloing bosses, and I kind of do prefer that more aggressive style of play. But, again, still one of the best solo servants in the game. Space Ishtar, like Berserker Musashi up here, one of the best arts looping servants in the game, and can also be your Buster or quick looping servant, although quick looping for her is a little harder than the other ones, but you can get it done with the right setup. Mao Nobu is definitely getting a lot better with all of her upgrades, so she can definitely get you some usage out of her. BB, after her buff, just became absolutely nutty, and even the 4 stars are all really good. Hephaestion's a very, very good pretender, like, single target art servant, with like a big fat 120% battery, so you can just instantly pop off with the NP. If you guys don't know what a pretender is, because maybe you're a bit more new, it's basically the opposite of an alter ego. An alter ego is super effective against cavalry, which is Ryder, Caster, Assassin, Berserker, but they are weak, or they just don't do effective damage. They actually do resisted damage against the knight classes, which is the Saber, Lancers, and Archers, right? The Pretender is just the exact opposite of that. They're super effective against Knights, but weak to Cavalry, minus Berserkers, obviously. MHXX, still, again, one of the better Arts DPSs in the game. She just absolutely cleans house. Estrella over here is like one of the best Arts crit servants in the game. Just a very, very good banner in general. Just very, very solid. If you don't really care about who you're getting, you can pretty much just have a good chance at walking away happy. Similar to this one as well. This one down here is also very, very strong, because Karen is a very good quick looper. Moriarty is a good arts looping servant, although he does struggle a little bit. I know that's been like the main complaint since he's come out, is that his looping ability struggles a bit. So just know that he can get it done, but there might be some things you need to do to tweak or kind of like find out the setup that works for your account, just because he can be a little quirky to use. Himiko, one of the better, just if you want to obliterate the enemy with Buster Crit servants in the game. Avenger Kama basically is your alternative to Space Ishtar. I mean, they're both really good loopers. Kaji Kiyo is literally just quick Jalter, but better. And Summer Kiara, again, just one of the better quick looping servants in the game. One of the best quick DPS, not quick, arts looping servants in the game, and arts DPS servants in the game. Dude, I did the same thing again that I did with Sei. Mixing up the card types, man. You have the exact same 4 stars on this banner, so it makes it good. It's just, again, this is one that, like, if you want somebody specifically, it's 1 in 6, and if you don't really care about who you want, it can be fine, because I would say the quality here is a bit better than this, because, unfortunately, like, these servants are just a little more power crept over people like Mao Nobu and Ruler Artoria, and I personally like Avenger Kama to Space Ishtar, so I would say, like, this is a good one to go for if you just don't really care who you get, you just want a good servant. This is really, really good. This one's a little power crept, especially with these two, and these 4 stars are not very good in comparison to, like, the current 4 stars you could be going for. Not to say that they're Dookie Dog Water or anything, because I don't want someone to get mad that I'm like, well, Gorgon's not, like, super, super great. I don't want somebody, like, mauling in the comments, but she's just not, like, up to date or anything, you know what I'm saying? She could use a buff or two. Abigail and Hokusai are definitely falling a little bit behind. Kiara is still absolutely amazing. Okito Alter is getting there, but not really worth summoning for, like, specifically to go for. It's really like, if you go on this banner, you want one of these two. Melt and Kiara still definitely hold up, especially at higher NP copies, more so for Kiara, but what I say, summon on extra 4, probably not. I would avoid that one like the plague. Extra 5, this one is also pretty good in kind of in comparison with this one, not like with this power level, more in line with this. You do get Van Gogh, which pretty much like the quick version of Himiko as like a pseudo support for her card type, that being quick. Voyager over here is kind of like your alternative to Edmund Dante's. Doesn't do as much damage, but like has a battery and everything, so theoretically he loops a little bit easier as well. Is also like compatible with certain CEs because he has a 50% battery. Yang over here just absolutely crushes. She's literally like the single target version of Hokusai, and I think she's built a little bit better as well. Yang is just, the more I use Yang, the more convinced that I maybe wasn't praising her enough when she came out. Summer Abigail is a little disappointing, not like super good. Like, you could maybe say she's like the Okita Alter of this banner, where she's like, give her a buff or two and she'll be a bit better. She's not atrociously bad, but she's not great either. And King Protea is really good for stall fights. If you're not going to be doing a lot of stalling, you might kind of struggle to use her, but I mean, the longer the fight goes on, the stronger the servant gets. Finally, Extra 6. This is another one very similar to Extra 3, where if you just don't care about who you're going to get, this is a phenomenal banner to go on. Oberon over here pretty much like just makes the Koyenskaya meta over here just even better, right? Like, he just takes what they're able to do with that and extends it, namely because if you pull over his 3rd skill, this literally just takes the Koyenskaya meta and just like obliterates it to new heights, right? It just ensures that no matter what the wave 3 is going to be, Oberon over here is going to allow you to just absolutely obliterate them. If you get Koyenskaya of the Dankness, she pairs very good with the original Koyenskaya and makes a very, very fun team. Jacques de Molay is just a very good quick AoE servant. She can definitely get the job done if you need her to loop or kill some bosses. Buzzette over here is like, she introduced the counter mechanic and is really, really good for farming because she taunts everybody to herself and then just punches them in the face for like 150k. So you can actually do counter farming with her. She's really good for that. She's really good for boss killing. A very, very fun servant to get your hands on that I'm very sad I didn't have. Ashia Doman can farm. He's really good as like a chaotic evil support. Wait, I know it's evil, but it's chaotic evil, right? I want to make sure I'm not misspeaking here. Okay, yeah, it's chaotic evil. Okay, I was just making sure. I was like, I know you're insane. I was like, I know you're a very, very evil dude. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it's chaotic evil. I know it's evil. The chaotic part, I was like, let me double check on that one. And then Bunyan's just a very, very solid buster servant, right? So a very, very strong banner if you want to summon on it. Very similar to Extra 3. If you just don't care about who you get, like, it's one of these banners that like 3 and 6, if you don't have anybody on either of these, it can be very good to just go for. But I will say at the end of the day, I think the best banners to go for are either like Berserker 2, Assassin 2, or Caster 2. Like, these 3 are just really insane. A shot at Castoria or Koyenskaya at a 1 in 3 chance or a 1 in 4 chance is absolutely insane. And then Berserker 2, like, if you just want a banner where you literally can't lose, this is your banner, right? Because even if, like, let's say you're like me, and I already had Arjuna Alter, I didn't have Musashi, and I already did have Morgan. Getting either of these at NP2 is absolutely phenomenal for buster farming, for them killing bosses and being able to cheese things, and acquiring Musashi Berserker just gives me an even better arts looper to use and like my repertoire of art servants to use. So like it's just, you don't lose, right? Like all of these servants are phenomenal. The 4 stars are phenomenal. It's just absolutely crazy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you leave a like on the video and you subscribe for daily FGO content. The 7th anniversary is absolutely hyped. I'm really excited to start covering more stuff. I mean, we haven't even talked about Jufu yet. Dude, we don't even have the rank up stuff coming out. Like we're just waiting on this stuff to start, bro. We got summer coming up, dude. It is a good time to be playing JPFGO. I highly recommend that you guys hop on JPFGO. If you're having a hard time doing it, I am, affiliated with LD Emulator there in the description down below. If you need a way to play JPFGO on like your computer or something, they also let you play at 120 FPS. So, if you want to help your boy out and play FGO at 120 FPS, that's linked down in the description down below. But yeah, I would definitely recommend getting in on JPFGO right now. Like, it's just a phenomenal time to play. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.